Instead of texting your loved ones, send them a personalized video with your favorite photos and songs, blended by Miss Rose at www.memories.tech. Miss Rose will blend any song for lovers, children, teens, and all. Many blends are already in place. Take a look and see at www.memories.tech. These blends keep memories alive. See what magic Miss Rose can create for your special someone at www.memories.tech.
1, 2, 3. Hey, welcome, and thanks for tuning in to Front of the Line with Jack Kilby. At the front of the line this evening, we've got my dear friend and perhaps, one of the greatest musicians and human beings that I know, Mr. Charles Owens, who not only played tenor saxophone on the Frontline's debut record, Love is a Song Anyone Can Sing, but is also the composer of the album's title track. And so, Charles, welcome, and thanks for joining us today.
Jack, how's it going, my man? I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I know, it has been a while. Yeah, things are great, man. Just been doing a lot of teaching, a lot of playing, and that's all I do is I talk about music and play music all day, every day. So I'm living the dream, baby.
That's great, and I've seen that you do have some exciting developments in your playing career over the past, even we could go back to 6 months, but notably I saw that you just joined the great Dane Alderson's band down in Charlottesville.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's one of the most amazing things that's ever happened to me musically, because Dane is really one of the best bass players in the world, not just hyperbole, but actually could literally be top 5 in the world.
Right,
he just happens to live here in Charlottesville. He's a bass player for the Yellow Jackets, and I've been going down there and sitting in for a good 6 months or so, as much as I could, and trying to learn the repertoire just because it's such great repertoire, and I just love being on stage with Dane. And the decision was made pretty recently to have me as a permanent member of the band, and that they got a little more money from the club so they could pay me just as much as the other guys. And we had a meeting last night. We're going to change the name and restart everything and just up the social media presence. So it's really exciting for me to be in that band, and it's new kind of material. It's great, man. And we're playing the Richmond Jazz Festival this summer. Traveling to Philly to play Chris's Jazz Cafe with my trio, and just found out I'm going to Seattle in September to play a weekend at Tula's Jazz Club. So things are great, man. Things are really popping off these days, and I'm so thankful and excited.
That's all incredible news, man. My goodness.
I know, dude.
So,
thanks. I know. I'm really happy.
That's awesome. And so maybe walk us back for a second, because there's some things that I know about, our similarities and both growing up in the Northern Virginia area and also spending time in New York. But maybe, especially as someone who's not only an established band leader himself, but with such extensive sideman work, as evidenced by not only with Dane's band and with my band, you gig, every weekend you're in another place. So, walk us back to what was it that really has driven you to this amazing point in your career?
It's funny that you should ask that, man, because I always think about that. How did I get here? I do often think about the journey, and it really has to do with me starting out as a kid, just wanted to be a great musician ever since I was literally a baby. There's pictures of me in diapers at the piano, trying to hold myself up and play piano. But really, there's a few moments when I was 11, I saw Amadeus. I knew that I wanted to be a musician, but then when I was 11, I saw the movie Amadeus, and that solidified my want to be only a musician for the rest of my life. And then when I was 14 or 15, I heard Giant Steps, and then I wanted to be a jazz musician, and so then I was going to these great arts high schools, and I was lucky enough to go to New York in 92 and start at the New School, and went to the New School for jazz. And the senior class at the New School when I got there was 4 people: Spike Wilner, Peter Bernstein, Larry Goldings, and Brad Meldow. Like, that was the senior class in 92 when I got there. And I'm just like, whew, okay. So that's, wow. I'm supposed to sound like that in 4 years? Like, bro, no. I need like 40 years, you know, for these guys. So it was great inspiration to start, you know. And really it just came from, I was spending a lot of time in New York, and then when I moved to Charlottesville, I sort of stopped playing for a little bit and became like normal guy Charles. Like, I had a regular 9-to-5 job for a while, and all of that was motivated by my family needing to like eat and have a place to live, really, you know. Right. But then I realized I couldn't be normal guy Charles. I had to be musician Charles, and even though I kind of regret, you know, spending so much time at these other jobs, it really taught me what I needed to really do with my life. And so I needed to continue to make good money because of all the bills that I have and all the, you know, these 2 kids and like, so the sideman work is simply just me trying to be a good professional and show up everywhere that I go, show up on time and do really good work and have people notice it. And then people started to notice it, and they started to see that not only was I going to show up and play well, but I'm going to show up on time and look good and sound good and be nice, you know? And like, that's
it seems so simple.
Yeah, it does seem simple.
So simple, and yet, you know, we encounter in the world so many folks who don't do those simple things. So it's just another testament to, you know, you're having the fundamentals of being a professional musician down pat, you know? There's so much that happens other than the playing, you know, that's really within our control.
It's so true.
Talk to me a little more about your time.
Girls look at you. Oh, sorry, man. Go ahead.
No. I just wanted to hear more about your time in New York. If you have 2 little baby girls
looking up at you like, hey, you going to feed me today? Like, it's real motivating, bro.
Oh, for sure. I can imagine.
Yeah, so more about my time in New York.
Congratulations. Yeah, please. I mean, because it's somewhere that you continue to play and be a presence despite living in Charlottesville, you know, thanks to those connections that you made in those early days at the New School. So talk some more about that.
Okay, yeah. When my first gig in New York that I got, that was like basically a few months after I got there, was the jam set. I ran the jam session at the Village Gate on Sunday afternoons, every Sunday afternoon for a couple of years. And it was just the most amazing opportunity for me because I met everyone there. Like, the first time I ever saw Meldow, he was playing after me, after the jam session. He started up with his trio with Leon Parker and Adana Kegel. And it just, you know, I was able to meet everyone. And that was before Smalls opened. That was a couple of years before Smalls opened. And I was going to the New School. The reason I went to the New School is because I wanted to be around Reggie Workman, who was, you know, Coltrane's bass player. And man, there was no high school kid, at least in my conception, that was more obsessed with John Coltrane than I was when I was in high school. So, like, you know, I read all the books. I read one of the books like 4 times because I just, you know, I couldn't get enough, man. I read the Miles biography, anything that he was mentioned in, and tried to get all the records, and I was so obsessed with him. And so when I found out that Reggie Workman, who toured with Coltrane in 1961, the quintet with Eric Dolphy, was at the New School teaching, I had already been accepted to Berkeley. I already been accepted to North Texas. But I had to apply to the New School, and I got into the New School, and immediately hooked up with Reggie and like became his right-hand man as much as I could, like literally going out to New Jersey and mulching his garden for him because his back was messed up, anything I could do. And he gave me my first gig in New York, which was his band, the Knitting Factory, like just playing free music, you know, totally free music, just wild shit. And it was so amazing, and like I couldn't believe what was happening to me, and you know, and so that once Smalls opened, I was one of the first people to play at Smalls, and you know, I eventually when I became part of the scene there really quickly, and Mitch, the owner, who still runs the club with Spike today, he and I became really close friends really fast, and you know, I moved in with him at one point, and his whole family, like he had a 1-bedroom apartment. He let me move in with him, at one point, I was homeless, so I had to move into Smalls. And I lived at Smalls from October 95 to June 96. And, you know, I showered in the health club across the street, and I worked the door at Smalls for years, and also not only working the door, but playing sometimes 5 nights a week there. My gig that I had there for 7 years was Friday night jam session. We started at 2:30 in the morning every Friday.
Wow.
And I actually inherited that gig from Eric Lewis, you know, the piano player, Elu,
wow,
as he's known now. Yeah, he was the one that had the gig before that. And, man, it was just, you know, the 90s at Smalls in New York was just, wow, it was totally off the chain, man. Like, just the bands that would play there, like every Wednesday, Samuel would play with Brian Blade and Josh Redman, like every Wednesday, man. And every Thursday, for a while, it was Kurt Rosenwinkel's band with Jeff Ballard and Vince Street and Mark Turner. Every Thursday. Like, dude, it was just insane. I played with the Jason Lindner Big Band every Monday for 7 years, man, at that club. So it was just an invaluable experience to be in New York at that time, and just be down at that club where, I mean, everyone came through. There wasn't one person that I can think of right now that's on the jazz scene that I didn't meet. You know, like Robbie Coltrane would come through, and, you know, my time with him, being a Coltrane disciple, my time with him was very special to me, you know, and a little strange to look at him in the face because he looks so much like his dad. And just the amount of experiences that I had at Smalls and in New York, playing with just so many great jazz masters of every instrument and being taught by it. I mean, just the list of teachers I had in New School was sick, man. Jim Hall, Buster Williams, Peter Bernstein, Jimmy Cobb. I mean, the list definitely. I took a class called Funk Class with Bernard Purdy. Like, it was insane, man. It was insane. It was just absolutely my first saxophone lessons. The New School used to give me vouchers. They'd give out vouchers that were worth $50. You could take them to any saxophone player you wanted in New York. Well, like, I took mine to Joe Lovano. I took a bunch of lessons with Joe Lovano, which were amazing, and I still have great stuff that I learned that I use today. And all the connections I made, and I live in Charlotte, so I'm so lucky to be able to just book gigs at Smalls, you know, 3 to 4 times a year and just go play. And, dude, I just made my latest record was, you know, with Joel Fromm and Ari Koenig and Alexander Classy, and Spike, you know, just blessed me with that record, like, so much. So, yeah, man, I'm really happy that I'm still able to go up to New York. My mother-in-law still lives up there, so I go stay with her. It's a good scene. It's healthy. It's really continuing to make me grow.
Well, of course. And it's so inspiring to hear you talk about it. And it's just a testament to your ability, not only as a master technician on the saxophone, but as a master really of music, which is a much deeper, and it's funny when you talk to folks about that, when musicians make that delineation all the time. And when we talk to folks who are not musicians, they also often seem confused with the fact that we're drawing that separation, you know, but it's truly, in my opinion, the folks that really get that bigger, larger understanding of music that you and many of the other grandmasters have, you know, that makes their music so powerful. And I mean, you hear it from every note you play. I mean, there's a lot of power and a lot of emotion in all those notes.
Thank you, man. That's one thing that I really do. Thank you so much for that. I've been working so hard to be the best saxophone player that I can be, and I'm still working as hard as I can to be better and expand my boundaries and my limits all the time. But, you know, when one talks about a virtuoso, certainly the first thing that comes to mind is like speed and technique, you know. But one thing that's often not thought about first is, you know, the ability to convey emotion through an instrument, you know. And that really takes a lot of, not just practice, but it just takes a lot of soul searching, you know, and like just the study of one of your fellow human and what makes them respond, and, you know, what you respond to, and how can you convey that through your saxophone, drums, piano, whatever, you know. And that's also a really tough spot to start to express, you know, that inner thing, you know, that to convey those emotions, to be able to express that, you really just, it has to be, it takes a while, you know, it really does. So thank you so much for that. Sure.
I mean, it's perhaps evidence to me the best in terms of the Frontlines, you know, recent project of your ability to sing melodies. through your instrument. I mean, not only is Charles just an incredible singer of melodies, but he was able to write this truly beautiful melody that I've taken